everyone! So today we're completing OMVIC's business application form. So you're completing this form if you want to become a new dealer in Ontario, and specifically we're going to go over how to become a used car dealer in Ontario. So the application will be for used car lots. You can also complete the form to be a wholesaler or a broker, but anyways, we're going to be filling it out as a used car dealer. So let's get into the form. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And don't forget, if you actually find this content useful, give us a thumbs up. Give the video a thumbs up, like the virtual thumbs up that on the, you know. Again, to get to the OMVIC website, we're going to do omvic.on.ca. And once we're here, we're going to click on dealers. Then we're going to go to registration for services, and you're going to click on become a registrant. Now you want to open up your own car lot, so you're going to be in the new dealers section over here. And step one, according to them, is to complete the business application. We've done 2 other videos because part of the business application is to step 1, I guess, to make sure that you complete your OMVIC certification course. You'll be required to do that, especially if you're going to be the one in charge of the day-to-day and you're the one who's responsible for the business. You're the one who's selling the cars and going to take part in the selling of used cars. So you absolutely have to take your OMVIC certification course as step 1. And then step 2 is, which I guess is aligned here, is to completing your individual application form. And anyone who's related or involved with the business will also have to complete one too. And then together that becomes, it's empty. Yeah, you just need that. Where was I? Form. So the business application form will include the individual application form, and you'll submit those 2 at the same time, kind of thing, right? So anyways, so let's click on this business application form and see what it entails. Again, like I always like to do to sort of preview the form, I scroll all the way down to the bottom to see what kind of checklist they have. Sorry. And here's the checklist, just so we know what we're going to need. So obviously you need to register the business. Are you registering it as a corporation? In which case, do you have copies of your articles of incorporation? Or are you doing a sole proprietorship? How did you register it, and what is the proof of that? You also have to supply a copy of the business name registration or the master business, aka the master business license. We're going to put links in the description below so you know how to do all those things as well, or like where to start to get those things. You also need to register with Canada Revenue with the CRA your HST number, and you'll have to show OMVIC proof of that. Again, like I said, we're not going to talk about the premise because you don't actually need to have those things finalized when you submit your business application. So I'm going to do a later video about those requirements. Your individual application form needs to be completed, so that's part of the business application form. So check out this video that we did not too long ago if you haven't done that already. You also will need recent bank statements. If you're going to be registering as a sole proprietorship and you're going to be using your personal account, I guess, to do business. But I would recommend that you open up like a new account, a new bank account, to keep it all kind of separate. So if you do open up a new bank account, you need basically proof that you in fact did that as well. And the processing fee for this application is $500, and and that's payable to OMVIC. And you also have to pay $324 to the Motor Vehicle Dealers Compensation Fund. And they're saying here, please make sure you don't combine the payments to OMVIC. Make sure you do 2 separate checks, basically. Okay, so here is the business application form. The business application form is going to cost you $500 to process, and you're also going to have to remit $324 by certified check or money order payable to the Motor Vehicle Dealer Compensation Fund. And you can also pay that by Visa or MasterCard. Now, I guess if you had already completed your OMVIC certification course, you'll learn that the Motor Vehicle Dealers Compensation Fund is basically a fund that rarely will get used. It's really for the consumer. And basically, like if you, I don't know, go bankrupt, or, you know, a customer takes you to court and you just, you know, never pay them, the compensation fund will pay them. But like almost 100% of the times, you will get customer complaints, but they're usually resolvable. And even if they go to OMVIC, OMVIC usually mediates some sort of resolution before it, you know, gets to that level. But anyways, that's what the $324 is for. So let's go start this business application form. So here's section A, general information. We're going to click first time applicant for registration. Your name would go here, your contact and your email address. Here's where you decide what class of dealership you want to be. So I'm going to click general dealer, used motor vehicle, because that's the one we're familiar with, obviously. But if you wanted to just be a wholesaler, you would click here, or a broker or an exporter. Okay, this section about business information. Now, so obviously you would have to have already registered a business. So if you decided that you want to register a corporation, I'll have links on how to, like where on the Canada, the federal website you can register a corporation, or maybe you decide you want to do a sole proprietorship, general partnership, or a limited partnership. I'm sort of unfamiliar with the partnerships, but anyways, I'm familiar with corporation and sole proprietorships because we've registered those businesses in the past. And so I'll make sure to leave links in the comments. Sorry, not the comments. I'll make sure I leave links in the description below so you can easily find that if you haven't done that already. And also you'll need to have registered an HST number with CRA, with Revenue Canada. So that number must go in here. You're also going to have to supply them with proof of these documents alongside the application. And then your corporation number if applicable. Then you're going to need, your business phone, fax. I don't really think anyone uses a fax anymore, but anyways, you don't have to, these are not required. You don't need to have a fax number, and maybe you have a business website, or maybe you don't have one yet, that's fine too, but all things you can complete if you have those. Here are the preconditions to registration in section B. So kind of like in the individual application form, it's the same questions, and you're hopefully going to say no because you're a first-time dealer and you've never registered a business before or a dealership before, right? So the first question you're saying no to is that, have you ever registered under the Motor Vehicle Dealers Act before, or has your registration ever been refused, revoked, suspended, or canceled? So no, because this is the first time. Did the applicant previously or does the applicant presently own or operate a business that is in default with the Motor Vehicles Compensation Fund or the retail sales tax? So we're going to click no for those answers for this example. And moving along to section C, business premises. So this is exactly what it sounds like. It's where do you plan to open up your car lot? Now, if you don't know because you don't have one, and you also want this business application to get approved first before you're signing a lease agreement, and then, for a whole month trying to figure out whether OMVIC's going to approve you, and you don't want to, Anyways, so you know where I'm going with this, right? So it's saying that if you do not currently have a premise for the dealership, you may complete this section at a later date or at the final stage of the process, right? So you can still submit it, and then someone from OMVIC will contact you, and they'll, when they see that, you've satisfied all the other requirements and preconditions, then they'll tell you, okay, go ahead now and find your lot, and then get back to us and with the information that we're asking. So just speed up this video a little bit. We're going to do a separate video about that because that's going to take a long time. So for now, you can just complete your business application. You don't have to worry about having your municipal permit. You don't have to worry about having your rental agreement or buying a property just yet. So let's just be efficient. Let's just keep completing, and we'll skip section C for now, and we'll go straight to section D. Section D is eligibility. And these are going to be the same questions from your individual application form, so it's going to be very redundant. So we're just going to quickly go through them about question 1. Have you ever had a commercial, professional, or business registration certificate or license of any kind refused, suspended, or revoked? Do you have any unsatisfied judgments or court orders or collections currently pending against the applicant? Has the applicant been involved in bankruptcy proceedings, or a consumer filed a consumer proposal in their past life, or a commercial proposal? Has a receiver, trustee, reorganization trustee, or similar officer been appointed by a court or under a security agreement? Okay, no, blah, blah, blah. These are all very personal, and obviously you have to answer them according to what applies to you. Clearly, has the applicant ever been found guilty or convicted of an offense under any law? And remember, when you go to your individual application, you'll have to have a back check done, a criminal record check. So that's kind of redundant information there. To the best of your knowledge, are any investigations being conducted on the applicant in any jurisdiction? Has the applicant traded vehicles to customers who are non-dealers in the past 2 years? Trick question. The answer to that is no, you have not, because you were never a dealer before, right? So, no. Section E is your business plan. Okay, so question 1. You need to list the source of funds or assets that will be used in the startup and operation of the dealership. Include the dollar amount of the startup capital, and kindly attach statements from your bank or other financial institution to verify your answer. So obviously you need to buy cars for your dealership, and they want to know, where did you get the money, or where are you getting the money to fund your business? And you have to supply proof. So maybe you have savings, and you can just put a copy of your, the balance or the statement that indicates the money that you'll be using to buy your inventory, or to, put your first and last month from your lease for your landlord. So they'll need proof of that, right? Please list all the job titles, or maybe somebody's giving you money, right? So they'll need to see that there's money there to start the business. Please list all job titles for existing and planned positions at the dealership, with the first and last name of the individual who will hold each position. So that just means, obviously, if you are running a business, you have to think about, who's going to be the one in charge. Maybe it's going to be you, right? Maybe you just want to have like 5 cars or 10 cars to start. That's possible as a sole proprietorship. And you're going to be doing all the positions. That's fine. You're going to be the salesperson. You're going to be the manager. You're also going to be in charge of the day-to-day. Maybe you're also going to be the one to, you're going to, you don't need to hire a detailer because you're going to go wash all the cars, right? Maybe you're also going to be the one doing your marketing, right? You're going to assume that role as well. You have to post ads. That's important, because whoever is posting ads also needs to know what the requirements are for posting ads as per OMVIC, right? So that could also be you, or if it's not, then you have to indicate whoever's in charge of doing that. So that's important to think about. Is the applicant taking over an existing dealership? If yes, please provide the name, address, and registration number of the existing dealership. Well, that's kind of nice. So maybe, that's actually a wonderful situation if you're just taking over an existing lot. What is the projected number of vehicles for the startup of the dealership? In addition, please specify the make, model year, and average purchase price of the vehicle. So that's all very personal, and that's all very up to you. There's no right answer for that. So that's just, what are your plans? Or do you think you might start up with 5 cars or 10 cars, or maybe you have your eye on a location and you have enough money saved up, or somebody is funding the business and you know that you can already open up with 20 cars, right? So that's, which I think is a weird question, because you have to be able to, let me see if they ask about, like, where do you plan on getting these cars? Because right now it's really hard to get cars. So this is all just plans. There's no right answer for anything, right? But are you thinking of selling really old cars, 10-year-old cars? Or are you thinking of selling 3-year-old cars? You have to have sort of an idea of where to start. Does the applicant have any contacts in the industry that will advise and assist with the dealership? I mean, you don't have to. You could say no and say, nope, that's fine. does or will the applicant exist for any other purpose besides the operation of motor vehicle dealerships? If yes, please provide particulars. Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know about what this means, but clearly if your main business, bread and butter, is basically to sell cars, then that's why your business exists. But perhaps you also exist because you want to fix cars, right? Maybe you want to also be an auto repair shop. You'd probably have to say yes and talk about that a little bit. If you are applying as a general dealer, which we are, this is new actually, I don't remember this when we did our application. You're required to have an agreement with a licensed motor vehicle inspection station, and you need to provide that NVIS license number on this line here, right? You can also provide this information at a later date. If you happen to be opening your little car lot in GTA, you can always hit us up, and we'll be happy to be your licensed motor vehicle inspection station. So, anyways, and carry on. Do you intend to pass on the transaction fee to a non-dealer customer on your bill of sale? So please note you are allowed but are not required to incorporate this fee. So obviously, for every transaction you do, you're going to have to pay OMVIC $10. So for every car that you sell, you have to remit $10 to OMVIC. And you can, if you want, actually put on your bill of sale, OMVIC fee, $10. So you can do that, or you can choose not to. It's up to you. There's, again, no right answer to that. It doesn't really matter. But make sure that if you do say like OMVIC fee, $10, that you also have to make sure that there's HST on that, so you're collecting HST on the $10 OMVIC fee as well. So that's what that's about. And obviously, if you require additional space, you can attach other papers, but make sure if you're attaching other papers, which you will because it's a business plan, you'll have to sign and date all the attachments. So just make sure you do that, and clearly identify, each question number so that they know what it pertains to. Section F, your business makeup. If you are not a general dealer, please go to question 2. Well, we are a general dealer. We're applying it as a general dealer, so we will have to answer question 1. Will the applicant accept deposits over $10,000 for a single vehicle transaction prior to delivery? So yes or no. Please be aware that if you are accepting, you can just hit no, because you don't, unless you're selling like Lamborghinis or high-end cars, but generally speaking, if you're just starting out, you don't need to be accepting that much of a deposit, obviously. But if the answer were yes, then keep in mind, and you should probably know this too, because you took your OMVIC certification course, that you would have to open up a trust account so that the deposit can go into be held in trust, right? So no, we're not. And will the applicant take vehicles to sell on behalf of a customer, on behalf of a consumer? So that's called consignment sale within its first year of operation. So no, we're not going to do that. For dealers applying in the general, wholesaler, exporter, or broker classes, have you set up a bank account in the applicant's legal name and business name? Right, so obviously you're going to need a business account in your business name. So have you done this, yes or no? And if it's not a new account, because maybe you're registered as a sole proprietor, so you're the business, so maybe it's not a brand new account, but if it's not a new account, you will need to provide your 3 most recent bank statements. Otherwise, kindly attach a letter from your bank confirming an account has been set up. Okay, so yes or no for that. This next section is please list, So in this next section, you must list all the individuals who will occupy the role of an officer or director. So officer or director if you registered a corporation, partner if it's a partnership, any shareholders if you're a corporation again, sole proprietor, person in charge. Basically, you need to list, we have to talk about and list them all here. Upon review, OMVIC may require you to submit additional documents or financial information records for all the individuals that you list. So be aware of that. And this is, I think I mentioned this in the individual application form, and this is where this information does come. So if it's important that at least one partner or officer or the sole proprietor has their Canadian citizen or landed immigration status in Canada, right? Or is a landed immigrant in Canada. So yeah, so you do that, and you need their registration number if applicable. Registration number, so you would get that because all of these people, okay, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, but all these people will have to complete an individual application for us. So they do also have to register with OMVIC if they are in fact selling cars and they're going to be part of buying, selling, advertising, that. So they'll have to be also registered with OMVIC, just so you know. Yes. So that's fairly self-explanatory, so we're going to skip all that. Now, if you did register as a corporation, you must complete the section only if shares in the applicant are held by another corporation. Okay, so that likely is not the case for the small independent dealer that you might like to be. Are there any individuals who have not already been disclosed? Who will have authority to sign on behalf of the dealership, like on floor plan agreements? So that's like with ADESA or Manheim. If you get a floor plan, or that's like kind of like a line of credit with them. Is there anyone else who will have authority to sign on behalf of the dealership? So you have to specify their names here if you haven't done so already. Yes, and here we go. In order to complete this application, you will need to provide a completed individual application form for any person occupying the roles that you basically detailed above. So that's important. And you will also need to provide an individual application for any salesperson, obviously, who are not currently registered as a salesperson. Sorry. You will also need to complete an individual application for any salesperson, right? And they're just reminding you, have you attached the required applications? Yes or no? So make sure you do that. Section G, consent and undertaking. Let's see. This is just, obviously you'll have to print your name and you're signing. And you're basically confirming that you are basically giving all the information you know to the best of your knowledge, and all your documents are factual, and that it is an offense to knowingly provide false information in connection with this application, right? So anyways, all the usual legal jargon that's required. And obviously if anything changes, you have to let OMVIC know about the changes. Yes, very good. And I guess that's it. It sounds like quite simply that's it, but so it is a lot of information. And remember, anything that you missed, or OMVIC will remind you that, oh, you forgot to, I don't know, submit so-and-so's individual application form. So don't worry, you don't have to have it all like buttoned down perfect yet. It's just to begin the application. If you're missing anything, OMVIC of course will allow you to, submit it at a later date. So it's all good. It's all good. I really hope that was helpful, guys. Again, don't forget to give a thumbs up if that was, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please don't hesitate to drop comments below if you have any specific questions. Thanks for watching, and all the best to you guys, okay? Take care, bye. It's like I'm getting off a phone. Not sure how to end this.